Welcome to my video. Let's practice your listening skill. Now conversation 1. And the topic is life way back when. Listen carefully.
So, Rachel, we're talking about how life used to be different for us when we were kids.
Yes.
And I was thinking the other day, it's interesting because we all have loving grandparents or parents, but our parents used to do things that they can't do anymore. For example, we used to ride in the back of my grandfather's pickup truck.
Yes.
On the highway, which now is totally illegal.
Yes,
like it's a big no-no. And we would get in the back of his truck and he would drive us all over the place in this old pickup truck. And like today, that's against the law, right?
We used to have a station wagon and there were 6 kids in our family. We just all piled into the back of the station wagon. No seat belts, no car seats.
Right.
Babies were in a little Moses basket on the back seat.
Yeah. And people used to do things like, also like you said, let kids, run around the back of the station wagon or move around. You would strap things to your car and drive down the street. Like sometimes you can't do that anymore, or you have to do it. It's a little bit more regulated than before, I think, right? Yeah. We also used to burn our trash, which is now a big no-no in California.
Really?
Yeah.
We never used to do that. So
really?
I can't comment on that one.
Yeah, so we had these big barrels and we would burn the trash. And if you watch movies, you'll see like in America people like burning stuff in barrels to stay warm or whatever. And
yes, I've seen that on movies.
Yeah, and I remember one year like my grandfather was like, "Oh, we can't do it anymore." They sent a letter and they said no more.
No, we used to go to the dump every week. My father would load up the trailer, or maybe every month or so. That's how we used to do it. We used to burn it.
Right.
I think they already had laws about it then.
Really? You guys were probably ahead of the times. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, very green place. Also, for having children, like women used to drink a little bit, or they used to smoke when they were pregnant, right?
Yes, that was a big thing, especially smoking to stay slim while you were in pregnancy. You wouldn't get too fat.
Really?
That was why a lot of women smoked.
Really?
It's a diet thing.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I did not know that. Wow, different times, huh?
Yeah, and the baby was born smaller, but that wasn't considered necessarily a problem.
Wow. And and not only that, they used to have commercials about cigarettes, and they would have commercials about drinking. I guess they still have commercials about alcohol. But yeah, they used to have commercials about smoking, and I think that's illegal in the States now.
It's illegal in New Zealand too, yeah. I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
Yeah. The newspapers used to be full of them.
Yeah. And they used to not have to say like what all the ingredients were in foods and stuff, right? So these days, like you have to say exactly what's in the food, I think.
Well, my mother and grandmother used to cook most things from scratch anyway, so there weren't many packets or cans of anything
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
No instant food or instant cakes. So they used to cook everything from fresh ingredients, so we knew what was in stuff.
We did too. On our farm, my grandparents' farm, they grew their own vegetables, and we used to can them.
Yes, we used to do that too.
Yeah. Although it was funny
Vegetables
because...
and fruit and potatoes every year.
Right, and it's funny because you call it canning, but it's actually you put it in a jar.
Jars, yes.
Yeah, right.
When you're doing it at home, you use jars, yes.
You don't call it jarring, but actually, I never remember putting it in a can.
We called it preserving, though.
Preserving, yeah. I hated that. We would do that all day or usually all weekend, and I dreaded that weekend. That was the worst because,
I didn't mind it so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we kids didn't have to do too much, but we used to like to pick the peels.
Yeah.
Or the stones, or we'd get lots of nice bits of fruit.
Oh, that's good. No, my grandparents put us to work, and it was 2 days that I could not have any fun, from sun up to sundown, and I dreaded it every year. Like, oh no, it's canning weekend. Oh no.
I didn't like the potato harvest, though.
Oh, really?
Didn't like having to go and take care of the potatoes.
So did your family had a potato ranch?
We didn't have a farm, but we used to plant a potato patch at my uncle's farm.
Oh, right.
So we would go there and we would weed it and we would plant it and we would harvest it every year. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we just grew like green beans and carrots, tomatoes, that type of stuff.
We used to have a vegetable garden at at our house, in the backyard of our home. So we had apples and lemons and feijoas and gooseberries and grapes. And
gooseberries? What's that?
Gooseberries are little green, very sour berry. They make great pies.
Really?
Yeah.
Gooseberries. How do you spell it?
Like goose.
Oh, gooseberries.
Yes.
Sorry. That's my
pronunciation.
my poor pronunciation listening there. Oh, gooseberries. Oh, cool. What do they taste like, gooseberries?
Very sour, like a raw lemon, maybe.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Raw rhubarb, if you've ever tried that. You just add that.
Rhubarb. I was not a fan of rhubarb. Rhubarb was one of the things I dreaded as a kid, was the rhubarb pie.
I loved it.
Really?
I used to eat it raw out of the garden.
Oh.
We would play in the back garden. We had a trampoline, and the vegetable garden was there, and we used to pick the raw gooseberries or the raw rhubarb, beans or carrots. Afternoon snack was very healthy in those days.
So rhubarb is healthy?
It's a vegetable.
Yeah, I don't...
Not quite so healthy once you add cups and cups of sugar to it, but
yeah.
And the leaves are toxic, so you have to be careful with it.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't like the rhubarb, and I didn't like beets. Those were the two that I hated.
Beetroot. We
yeah.
used to, yeah.
And they always make you eat it.
Preserve that as well.
Yeah, you'd have the canned cranberry, whatever, and also the beetroots, and those two things were not my favorites.
I love beetroot on a hamburger.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, well, there you go. That's very healthy. It's purple, one of the few purple foods, right? Purple or reddish. Is it purple
reddish,
or red?
Really. It's really reddish. Yeah.
Kind of a deep, dark blood red, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the good old days growing up on the farm. The things that we used to do, we can't do anymore.
That is the end of Conversation 1. Now move to Conversation 2. And the topic is getting a job with Uncle Sam. Listen carefully.
So, Sarah, we're both English teachers, and we taught together before, and then you went away and you worked for the U.S. State Department.
Yes.
And you came back, and now I want to work for the U.S. State Department.
You should do it.
So I want you to give me some advice, what I should do and what I shouldn't do to get the job, and what do I need to do so I can work for the U.S. State Department. So what should I do?
So the first thing you should do is to start doing the paperwork. There's so much paperwork and it can be overwhelming. So you shouldn't try to do everything in one day, and you shouldn't leave it to the last minute. So please start the paperwork soon.
Okay, so how long does it take to do the paperwork?
It takes a couple of weeks because you need to write some very long answers to many different questions, and because you need to ask references to write these long answers for you.
Okay, so like who should I ask to be a reference?
You should ask 2 people who have experience with your teaching. So for me, I asked the head of the language department and a coworker who had observed my class. So you should ask perhaps the level coordinator. You should ask your boss, your manager, and then maybe a coworker who has seen your teaching.
Okay, so could I ask you?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said there's some questions. Like what's a sample question?
A lot of the questions are about how do you deal with cultural differences. So it might say, tell me a time in your life you have felt, or tell me a time in your life you've been confused about the culture and you didn't know how to proceed.
Oh, okay.
So you need to write about what happened and how you overcame it.
So how should I answer the question? Should I just talk about my own experience, or should I try to phrase it in a way that I think they want to hear? Like, what should I do?
The most important thing is to be honest. But what they're looking for are people who are flexible, understanding, and hardworking. So if you can phrase it in that way, talk about how you really responded to the situation. If you responded poorly, what did you learn from it? How you could have done better, and how you could have done better, or things like that.
Okay. Wow, those are some good tips. Is there anything I shouldn't do, I shouldn't say, I shouldn't mention?
Well, just like any job, you shouldn't mention that you want the job just so you could travel, or you want the job just to make some money. You should talk about the more positive aspects of why you want the job, to help people, to teach people about the culture of the USA, to help people learn English. One of the big reasons this program exists is to spread goodwill about the USA. So we are definitely representatives for the U.S. government, for the U.S. people. So we need to show that we can be a responsible, kind, hardworking representative of the USA. So they really want to see that in your application as well.
Okay. Now, as you know, I have ELO. We're doing this for ELO right now. Should I mention ELO? Should I mention that I do ELO? Or should I keep that a secret and not let them know?
I think they would be very happy to hear about ELO because they desperately want more people who know about technology, online learning, internet, and things like that. Because the people who apply, a lot of them are like me. We have a master's in TESOL. I don't mean to brag, but we're good teachers. We're passionate. But they desperately need more people that can help teach things like online learning, technical English, how to set up a website in English. Maybe you could teach that. They want people who have experience and knowledge. And if you can show them your website, I think that they would be really happy to see it.
Oh, wow, that's great. Well, thanks for the advice. I'm going to apply.
You're welcome. You can do it.
All right. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
That is the end of video today. You did very well. Let's keep going. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye and see you in the next video.